Hello, welcome to Bill and Kelly Show, live from Sip Coffee House in Highland, Indiana. With us today we have two guests. We have Jill Schlueter from the Girls, the Executive Director of the Girls on the Run from Northwest Indiana. And we also have Jacqueline Weber from, and she's the Director of Development for Girls on the Run in Northwest Indiana. So welcome to our show, and we're so glad you're able to join. And really, personally, I'm so glad because we're going to have an audience member I normally don't have. You would think my daughter would watch all our shows. Well, she's, as we were talking before the show, has a lot of motion towards Girls on the Run because she was a coach for years. And she also ran the Chicago Marathon and selected Girls on the Run as a charity. So they're hoping to get involved again. So before we get too far, I think she's out there probably, but she has two kids, so that could be, maybe. So with that, why don't we start with you, Jill, and tell us a bit about yourself and where you came from and how you came to be with Girls on the Run. And Jacqueline, if you'll follow her, that would be great.
Absolutely. Well, I'm from Highland originally, but then I moved to Chicago. We lived there for quite a while, and then we have three little girls. They're not little anymore, but
they'll always be little.
We had when we had our third girl, she was born with medical issues and a disability, so we decided to move back to my hometown, which is Highland. And while I was being an at-home mom raising my girls, I came across Girls on the Run in Runner's World. And I read about it, and it just really clicked with me. It combined all my passions, which is running. I have my master's in social work, so social work and just interventions, and then girls, raising strong, empowered girls.
Absolutely.
So it just really, really clicked with me, and I thought, this is something I could do while I'm raising my kids, and especially my youngest, who I really couldn't do a traditional job and work 9 to 5 with her. So I started working on Girls on the Run, and we started in 2007. We had 15 girls at one location in Highland at Merkley Elementary School. And
Merkley Mustangs,
woo! And we still have a site there all these years later. I think I just heard somebody say we've had a site there. This is our 22nd season.
Oh, wow.
Of Girls on the Run at
Great.
Merkley. So this year, 2018, we served about 2,300 girls. So from 15 to 2,300 in about 11 years, and we now serve. Not too shabby.
No.
And now we're all throughout Northwest Indiana. We serve 7 counties.
And we're going to get back to Girls on the Run, a little bit more about what you do, how it was founded nationally, and some of the neat things that are happening. Jacqueline, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm from Minnesota. I grew up in Minnesota. And then I met my husband and we moved here. He's from Chicago, so we moved out here. And I met Jill through running. Her and I were actually training for a half marathon together. And of course when you're running for a couple couple hours, you're just talking about everything. And so she told me all about Girls on the Run, and I have a daughter myself, and she was just a little at the time, but then I would come out and volunteer at all the 5Ks, and just got real passionate. And then I wanted to run a marathon, check it off my bucket list. And Jill said, well, let's do it together. And kind of like your daughter did, we raised money for Girls on the Run while we were running the marathon. And then I was working a different job at the time, but then I went back and I'm working on my master's degree in nonprofit. And when a job opened up at Girls on the Run, I applied right away and said, this is my passion. I've coached my daughter as well, like your daughter, 3 times on the team. And so I just really got involved and real passionate about empowering girls today. So that's how I got involved.
Why don't we step back a bit and talk about how Girls on the Run came to be, and then talk a little bit about what they do and how they get involved with girls, adolescent girls, and preteen, and so on. Jill, you want to start and tell us a little bit about how Girls on the Run came to be?
Yeah, it all started 23 years ago. Our founder is Molly Barker, and she is out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And she started the program. She has a background in social work, also is an Ironman triathlete, very competitive triathlete. And she was going through some rough times, but she kind of came to a realization that she wanted girls to learn that they did not have to be what she called put in a girl box. She felt as she was growing up, there were a lot of expectations as to what a girl's supposed to be, what they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to act. And she realized that kind of led to some of her own issues and challenges, and she wanted girls to just celebrate being their unique selves. So she created this curriculum with her background in social work and teaching as well, and delivered it for the first time 22 or 23 years ago.
I think 1996.
Also started with a group of 15 girls, just one site, and then somebody heard about it and asked if they could start it in their hometown, and it just exploded from there. And now there's 220 councils across the country. Collectively we've served over 2 million girls in the last 22 years, so it just took off.
It's wonderful.
So some of the programs, we're going to go through some pictures later on showing some of the programs that are going on, because it's just not running. It's like you say,
Right.
teaching them how to be a female, that it's not typical known. Now I'm beginning to understand why Sarah became a coach, because she's, I guess she would be a classic independent, strong-headed female. In fact, I think she taught
just
that
an
class.
awesome, amazing
Yeah,
woman.
we constantly refer
Both
to
of the
her
girls.
husband as poor Kevin for various reasons. But yeah, I'm kidding, Sarah. No, she's great. She's great, but she loved the program. So, why don't you talk about some of the programs and how maybe somehow the mentoring works out, and how mentors work with the girls.
Yeah.
Well, all of our program is for girls in grades 3 through 5, and then we have a different curriculum for girls in grades 6 through 8. And it's a 10-week program, and the teams meet twice a week for about 90 minutes, and it's all done by volunteer coaches. So majority of our coaches are teachers, but we do have some community members and parents as well, even school administrators, but majority of them are teachers, so it's an after-school program, so that works out easiest. But it teaches the girls life skills, as you kind of mentioned. It's really not all about the running. We incorporate physical activity into each lesson to teach the girls a healthy lifestyle, but it also teaches them self-esteem and positive self-talk, and how to stand up for themselves and stand up for others, and to make healthy choices in life, and to connect to their community.
So
and
to be a
other
mentor,
people.
you don't have to be a runner.
No.
You do not have to be a runner.
Because my idea of running a marathon is going to the marathon gas station and running from my car inside to get a diet soda and back.
That's
that's
so
about
true.
it. I'm not a runner. It's not good for my knees and everything
Right.
else, but
No, our-
anybody can get involved if they wanted
Our
to.
coaches, really the only requirement is to be like a positive influence and a positive person. That's really about it. We encourage them if they can run or walk with the girls, and a lot of coaches do start running or walking as they get involved, but you don't have to be. Our coaches go through a 5-hour training in person and then an hour online, And what we train them, we don't talk about running at all in our training.
No.
What we really train them to do is how to create that positive, inclusive environment when the girls are there. To it was also create like a mastery climate where the girls are celebrated for improving upon what they do, not for winning or being the fastest or doing things perfectly. It's always just being the best that they can be.
Just trying,
just
doing.
being,
Right.
Yes.
and being their true selves. So that's we just encourage and train our coaches to be open to the girls from where they're coming from, to think about where they're coming from. Like they've had a long day at school, what is their home life like, to think about being sensitive to the girls and just empowering them to be their best selves.
That's great.
And being someone that they are, not who someone thinks they should be,
Right.
and getting
Right.
like
Definitely,
you mentioned before,
definitely.
and which has been historically, unfortunately, because the sexist attitudes towards females and so on is still to this day kind of collapsed on females, and so that's great. You talk about getting out of that shell and moving
Right.
forward and being a true self-sustaining human being. That's great. So what type of activities do you have, like classes when they come do their when I assume they have to train to run, that's the name, got to get that in somewhere, right? And so at that time, do they have classes, or do you set that aside for another time? How does that work?
Well, so we start with a curriculum that's been developed by Girls in the Run International. They've spent a lot of time and research on this curriculum, and it's a series of 20 lessons that all build upon each other. So they start out with just kind of getting to know you exercises and talking about what rules they want to set for themselves in their group, and then they move on to various lessons. It might be like standing up for yourself, and
Right.
they kind of practice phrases to use to stand up for themselves. And each lesson starts with a circle time where they talk about what's the topic going to be today, introducing it, defining terms if needed, and then they get up and they do a warm-up exercise, and that also references back to the topic of the day. And then at the end they'll do their workout. So they start off running, just a few minutes, and they build up just like anyone would do when they're training for a 5K. Just build upon it each week and get up to running 3 miles together. So it's really all integrated together. The running is just a part of the lesson, a part of like learning to be healthy and fit. What does it feel like to be exercise, and to make it a social time with their friends, and also just for goal setting. They set a goal. They're going to run 3 miles, which a lot of them have never done before, and learning that they need to break that down, and then the success of it when they cross the finish line. It's wonderful.
Do you have a question? No. Okay. So how much time, say if a parent's listening out there and saying, gosh, we'd love to get our girl involved in this, how much time is the whole process you described? Like, is it on a Saturday? Is it after school?
It's all after school. It's for 10 weeks, and it's twice a week. So we have a fall program and a spring program. So spring it's March and April and through the middle of May, and then our fall program just is ending this week. So it starts after Labor Day.
Right. And so, like...
It's right after school.
Right after school, so how much time did you say that you allotted for?
Sometime it's between 75 and 90 minutes,
Okay.
depending on the
That's not
school
bad.
site.
All right. All right. And I mean, and again, as a parent, you've got to appreciate these are tools that,
Right.
besides the homework, that they can really use in life.
Yeah, it
Right.
actually goes. One of our focuses is social emotional learning, which is a big focus of schools right now. Like how to get those lessons. There's so much focus on the academics and testing that it's a great way for that social emotional learning to happen after school. They learn great lessons that they bring back into the classroom. It makes them better students and better citizens at home as well.
Yeah. Do you, I heard you say how to deal with difficult situations. Is bullying in there? How to deal with bullies and things?
How to stand up for themselves and stand up for other people. And also there's a couple friendship lessons as well too, that just talk about who are your friends and what would be a friendship maker, a friendship breaker, and perhaps just a yellow light for a friendship. Like maybe I just need to talk to you, and we also teach them how to go about talking to somebody if there is a conflict, to resolve a conflict with an I believe, no wait.
I feel.
Oh, I feel. Yes,
when
you.
because I would like for you to.
Right.
So
Oh.
they learn that phrase and they can use it in
So-
conversation.
So the words "you just need to shut up" are not appropriate
Right.
ones that you
Right.
include.
Right.
Sarah, you got to take that out. I'm
Aw.
sorry.
Yeah, so how to deal with conflict in like a healthy, productive way instead of going straight to crying or getting upset or, although crying is great too.
Yes,
We're all
it's a
for
good
crying,
release.
but in order to deal with conflict in a productive way.
Great. Yeah, conflict resolution, how to deal
Yeah.
with
Right.
bullies that don't know, and how to get out of tough situations.
And also how to recognize if you yourself are not being a good friend or being a bully. One of my coaches shared one time that a girl came up to her after one of the bullying lessons and said, "I have to talk to you about bullying." And she said, "Oh, is there someone that's bullying you?" And she said, "No, I'm a bully." And so then they talked about how she could change some of her behaviors to be a better friend and not get into that behavior.
Yeah, that's key
That's even
nowadays.
better.
Yeah, I know,
That's
isn't that
even
amazing?
more amazing when you recognize that in
Right.
yourself and are
Right.
willing to do something about
Yes.
it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
It's
even
an important lesson
better.
for all of us, right?
Yes.
That's
It
a
is
step of
exactly.
maturity to identify
It is really
that.
mature.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, to identify, hey, I need to make a change in myself. How can I
Right.
get help
Yeah,
and change
I
it?
want to be a better friend. I want to be a better person. What do I do? I
Right.
think that's
Yeah,
great.
it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Now, how does Girls on the Run sustain itself? Do parents pay for those sessions, or do you have fundraisers? Do you accept donations? All of the above? Or?
All of the above.
All right. So,
Yeah, so we do charge a fee. It's on a sliding scale. So we can take into consideration family income and family size. And so we ask families to pay anywhere from $10 to $160, which is really our full cost. And about half of our income, Jacqueline's the
Yes.
expert on our finances and our fundraising. But so about, we're sustained about half through registration
right.
earnings.
And the other half is through fundraising, events, and donations, and
Sponsors.
let's-
Yes.
before we end the show, let's talk about your fundraisers, because we'd love to get those out and
Yeah.
possibly be involved in
Great.
them if anything we can. I downloaded some pictures, so
Okay, great.
we'll just switch to them, and maybe if you could describe what's going on in the pic. I guess this is just a promo.
Yeah, well, new and returning sites, fall 2018. So we do start recruiting new sites. We're looking at signing up all our sites now for our spring season. So if anyone's interested in bringing a site to their school or any other location, we're doing that now, getting ready. We have a lot of sites that return every season. How many sites do we have, Jacqueline? About 100.
How about 125 throughout the year?
125
So
right
when
now.
you say a site, this is the place where they go to train and
Right.
experience
Right.
all these
Mostly
classes.
schools.
Mostly schools.
Right.
Some
Mostly
churches
schools.
or things like that.
Right.
That do
Yeah,
after
a
school
few other
things.
non-school sites.
Well, we're on the topic of schools. How do you approach the school and say, hey, this is the program we'd like to show, get involved, and does it go through the
a good question.
PTA?
It's a good
or-
question. Over
Very
the
good
years,
question now.
Over the years, we've really grown very organically, where teachers or parents have come to us to say, how do we get this started at our school? Now we've kind of gotten to the point where we have so many sites, we have plateaued a
Yeah,
little
we've
bit
plateaued
in
a
adding
little
new
bit.
sites, so we're being a little more intentional about recruiting. So we're looking at school systems that might not have us yet, or just various schools that might not have us yet. We added some new counties that don't have us yet, so being a little more intentional about really marketing ourselves to them and just letting them know why we think it's a great program that they should add.
Cool.
Now, if somebody out there has a child and their school does not have this, do they approach the school to approach you? Do they call you directly? How would they go about
they could
getting
just call
their
us.
child involved?
Yeah, they have to get the support of the school, obviously, to hold the program there, but they could call us directly and we would help them with all of that. It's real simple to get a site started. You just need you need the school support, and you need at least 2 volunteer coaches to commit to come to the training and then do the program for the girls.
And do they meet once a week?
Twice a week.
Twice a week?
Mhm.
Okay.
And do you have teachers as mentors?
We have a lot of teachers as
I would
mentors.
imagine
Yeah,
that, 'cause
they really enjoy the non-school time with the girls. They get to show them a kind of a different side.
Yes.
And get to know the girls in
Yeah.
a deeper way as well.
It's probably about 500 coaches that we have throughout the year.
Oh, wow.
Mostly teachers. I'd say 90% are teachers.
Probably 90%. Yeah.
I imagine it's got to be.
Do we have another slide that we can
Oh
go
yeah,
to?
yeah. It's just when
I
we
just
get
feel
to,
like we're all talking and nobody can see us. All they're seeing is that picture.
Well, it's a good picture.
It is a good picture.
All right,
It is,
let's
but they
go to
wanna
the next
see
slide.
us.
Oh, and this is kind of like from a practice session.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
From their practice 5K. So they all, once they get to the end of the season, to give them that confidence that they can finish a 5K, they do a practice 5K together, and the coaches make it fun by like doing the little bracelets. So every lap they do, they get a different color bracelet to
Oh,
help
cool.
them keep track of
I
how
thought
far
those were
they've gone.
bracelets, so I was like,
Because girls
what is
run it
that?
and walk at different speeds. You know, we
Yes.
might have a girl who's a little speedster and has 3 laps in before somebody has 1, and so
it's
it's a
kind of
great way to
award.
keep
Yeah.
track.
We celebrate for them.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
end up with a bunch of these things.
Yeah.
Cool. And I guess this is one of the sessions. Right?
Yeah.
Right. This is one of the lessons.
So a lot of times they do the lesson start out inside, if it's just to have a little more contained, and then they'll move on outside if possible.
And the camp. Yeah.
Yeah, last year this year,
Right.
this summer we did camp for the first time. The Girls and Run International developed it, and we wanted to do it to, get it to some girls that hadn't had a chance to do it before. It was intense. It was great. I think the girls really benefited from it. It's a lot of fun.
Now, is it like a day camp?
It
Yeah,
kind
was-
of
yes.
thing?
Just for
Okay.
a week. Just for a
Okay.
week during the day. Yeah.
And here's the run.
Yeah. This is one of our 5Ks.
Yeah, that's
so,
in LaPorte. That
Oh,
was
wow.
at Kessling Elementary.
Kessling
Middle
Elementary.
School.
Middle school, yeah.
Middle
you're
school,
right.
yeah.
It's
That was
middle
a
school.
couple of years ago at
Huh.
Kessling. I remember the long sleeve purple shirts.
Neat. So on these runs, what would you say would be an average of the girls that you get involved that go out on one of these runs?
Well, this is our end of the year 5K, or end of the
All right.
season 5K celebration. So for us, it's actually this weekend. We have our 5K in LaPorte, and then on Saturday, and then on Sunday it's in Hammond. And all the girls will go to one of those 5Ks, and they will complete the 5K.
And so is this open to everyone?
It is open to
It is.
all community,
So,
the whole community.
all right,
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, so it's a celebration, really. We don't time it. We have music and face painting and all kinds of fun things happening. It's a time for the girls to celebrate their accomplishment, that they've finished, training for a 5K, and they've learned all kinds of great things and formed great friendships, and just have fun.
So if I ever run one of these, it would be a good example how girls can get together to help older people, even
Yeah.
though they run real slow.
Right.
It
Real
is
slow.
very inspiring. I
Yes.
highly recommend it, especially if you're not focused on how fast you run a 5K or walk.
Oh, I
It's
used to
great.
be, but now it's
Yeah.
like, can I get this done in a day?
Exactly. It's very fun to see the girls cross that finish line. It's very emotional. The girls aren't even as emotional as their parents are.
Right.
Parents just are so proud of their
proud,
girls.
yeah.
To see them finish this 5K.
I bet.
And for a lot of the parents, it's their first 5K, and they never thought they could do it, and their girls inspired them to run it. So it's a lot of the finish line.
And
is
it's
the
a
best place
really
to
fun
be.
bonding thing
It is-
for the families too. To
Right.
A lot of people have
supporting each
shared
other.
that. Yeah, that it was a great bonding experience for them and their daughter, like dads and daughters, or
Yeah.
even brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
So you guys, let's see, you have a little countdown going on
Right.
here probably.
It's
that
no
put
more
up on
1 week.
Facebook.
It's
No more
Yeah,
one
it's not
week.
even a
It's
week
this
anymore.
weekend.
It's
This
this
Saturday.
weekend.
This Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. Now this is kind of interesting. This is the kind of like teaching them outreach.
Right. About their community. Mhm.
Right.
Each season, each team of 15 girls will do a community impact project. So they have a lesson, they talk about who is their community, they decide together what they would like to do for their community impact project, and then they actually complete the project within that 10 weeks as well. So it can be anything that the girls decide to do. It has to be completed within one lesson, though. So they've done many things, like it could be as simple as writing thank you notes to their teachers, picking up garbage around the school, making
It's like
things
they made
for
blankets or
they
something.
made blankets. I think one time for
great.
people with cancer. It's whatever is impactful for them.
Yeah, it looks like this is they're putting together care packs.
Oh yeah, they do a lot
Cute.
for
Yeah.
animals, for veterans, for teachers, parks, the school.
Neat.
Yeah, the girls
That's
are supposed
great.
to really direct the project, so they vote on it, decide on it together, and do all the work on it. So it really is a great introduction for them and how to be involved in their community and give back.
And teaching them how important it is to get involved in service projects and getting
How to give
outside.
back to your
Yeah,
community.
Yeah.
Right, right.
which is so important
Yes, it
nowadays.
is.
So it looks like is this like a practice or?
This may be, yeah, either a practice or their practice 5K. Looks like they're celebrating. I don't know what they're holding up.
They all got thumbs up.
Just
Thumbs up,
just
okay.
thumbs up.
Yeah.
We did it.
There you go,
Photo.
we did it.
We did it.
That's awesome. And I think we're back to it, so we'll go back
Yes.
to.
That's great.
Boy, those are that's just inspiring. Just watching some of those pictures.
I'm proud of
knowing-
them, and I don't even know them. I'm thinking, there's no way I could do a 5K.
Yeah, you
I
could.
think. Well,
Yes,
I mean,
you
I'm
could,
sure I
yeah.
You need to come
could,
to
but
the
I just am
5K.
like, wow, that's.
And we
It's-
have, we have people who finish and girls who finish in like 22 minutes.
Right.
And then we have people that take well over an hour. So
And
fit in-
each one is celebrated.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And, yes.
everyone is
Because you
celebrated.
did it.
Right,
It doesn't
yes,
matter when
exactly.
you did it. You did
No,
it.
it doesn't. We're there for the last person, and we celebrate her the most usually. Whoever finishes
Right.
last, we're like so excited for them.
Yeah.
Are there some that absolutely can't run and all they could do is walk? And
Absolutely.
They can get involved?
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
Some girls just walk. There's
So
a few.
we this past season we were part of the a pilot with Girls in a Run International back in the spring actually to serve girls with special needs, and we really want to make parents know that every girl can be a part of Girls in the Run. So we had a couple of girls who had some physical disabilities that prevented them from really completing the whole 5K, but what we did is modified the course for them, gave them an option of coming in a little bit earlier, or, doing something a little different. We gave them extra volunteers to support them on their journey. I think one girl did cut the, do the modified course, but the other girls all finished the whole course.
They did, yeah.
Just with a little extra
Yep.
help from
Yeah.
some friends.
That's
and
wonderful.
We definitely celebrated that. So.
It sounds neat, helping kids along. And again, what age group is this again?
Our Girls in the Run program is 3rd through 5th, and when we have another curriculum called Heart and Soul that's geared towards middle school, so 6th through 8th grade.
Oh, Lord love the mentors
I know
with that one.
it's different. It's a
No,
more
they're-
mature. It's
yeah.
a more mature program. It's
Right.
a little more self-led with the girls. They kind of lead the topics, and they talk about it's called the Girl Wheel. So they talk about their own selves and how they impact people around them, how they interact with each other more. So it's a little more sophisticated.
Right.
But it is kind of interesting you have that age group because, boy,
It's a challenging age.
Yes,
It is.
it is.
Yeah, let me put it this way. This is probably the most diplomatic. Middle school teachers are the most underpaid profession in the world.
Absolutely.
Those people should be paid $1 million just to step in the classroom, and then with benefits after that.
It's a unique age for
It
sure.
is.
I'm glad you used the unique.
The girls
yes.
are really at that age. They're very insightful. They have a lot
Mhm.
to contribute. They have a lot to say. They're in such an interesting growth period of their lives. I love the Heart and Soul curriculum. I think it's wonderful, and it really helps them navigate those challenging years.
Yeah, and it's just
Sure.
not the girls; it's the boys too. It's just things biologically are happening, and they're just like
Absolutely,
these
yes.
big bundles of
Of energy.
yeah.
Hormones.
Hormones.
Hormones,
Yeah,
yes.
my
Got 'em
office at Valparaiso Community Schools used to be in the middle school, so I was exposed to all these nice little bundles of hormones. And often planned a path from the main office to my office that was safe. Yeah, it was interesting. So,
It's a fun age.
So, what about sponsorship? Do you have corporate sponsors as well? And
Yeah, so we look for sponsors to sponsor our program, and that includes our 5K. We have quite a few, local sponsors. We also have national sponsors. Sponsors like NIPSCO, PNT Nuclear,
Rosevich,
Rosevich Wellness, Franciscan. Those are some of our bigger sponsors, but we're, always looking for more small or large businesses to sponsor us. We're also getting ready to plan again our big fundraiser in the spring called the Sneaker Soiree, which is a lot of fun.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
We have a band, and we encourage people to wear cocktail attire and sneakers so they can dance all night.
oh, cool.
We do silent auction, and we're really looking for sponsors for that as well, so that we can make it a big fundraiser for
Right.
us.
That sounds
It's
wonderful.
really fun.
Where do
Yeah.
you guys do
Really
that?
We do it at Wicker Park.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
We got to get
Nice.
that on our
Wicker
calendar.
Yeah.
April
Social Center.
13th.
Was
is
it the
it?
15th or 14th?
April 13th.
13th?
April
13th.
13th. We got plenty of planning to
Yes.
do.
That's right.
Right.
So we can
We got some time to
get all
plan
of
it.
Mark Roscoe to design our shoes.
Yes.
Our designer shoes.
Yes.
We had a
We'll
phenomenal
have them
guest.
do our dress. And
Our
Our
dress?
dress, yes.
Our dress.
I'm going to wear a dress.
Of course.
Why not?
Okay,
Okay.
I'm on.
Why not?
Why not?
I'm up. It's all good.
I always have a pair of Converse that I have decorated for the event. It's
Cool.
fun. To,
Did you
Yeah.
bedazzle them?
Yeah, super
Ooh,
bedazzle them.
bedazzle.
So, and this is open for anyone if they want to
Yes.
come and attend to
Yes.
support Girls
Yeah.
on the Run. They can come visit.
Yeah,
Any
absolutely.
other fundraisers out there? Any small ones, big ones outside the?
Yeah, we just did our fall fundraiser called Luna Fest, and Luna Fest is a film festival that's put together by the Cliff Bar Company. They make the Luna bars, which is
Okay.
nutrition bars
Yeah.
for women.
Yeah.
They partnered with a nonprofit that supports female filmmakers and put together like 90 minutes of films, short films made by women, for women, and about women. And we've been doing that, I believe it's this is our 7th
years.
one.
Yeah.
And so we show the films and make it a little fundraiser. We did a little silent auction, raffle, some drinks and food, and we always make it a fun time. So that used to be our big fundraiser, and then we decided to spin off the films to a fall Porter County fundraiser, and we have our sneaker soiree then in the spring in Lake County.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing that up. So, Girls on the Run Northwest Indiana does cover Porter County.
Yes, we're at Lake, Porter, LaPorte, Newton, Stark, Pulaski, and Jasper.
Wow.
Sarah, did you get that?
Yeah,
They're everywhere.
7 counties.
7
That's
counties.
great.
Yes.
She
There's-
may be out there under an anonymous name.
There
I'm
you
sure
go.
she is.
That's
Yeah.
why
Now
we-
she's very anonymous.
Yeah.
That's
She's
why
like,
we
I don't
do
know
always
this person.
spread out our 5Ks. So in the fall we do one in LaPorte and in Hammond, and then in the spring we have one in Highland and Chesterton. So we try to spread it out so we can be geographically located for the girls too.
That's great.
And
Yeah.
people will find about that on your Facebook page, which is
Right.
Girls on the Run of NWI, right, Northwest Indiana. And you have a website as well,
Right.
separate from the corporate.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, our website is GOTR, Goater, of NWI.org.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
And
And
phone number, if anybody wants to call, or do we know that
It's
off the-
219-384-8276. And you'll get me.
So, do the kids, the little ones, do they know? Do they get something at the school when so they know that they can join this group?
Yeah, so each of our schools, we do encourage them to promote it within their schools, because each school is so different in how they communicate with families. Some might send flyers home to all the 3rd through 5th grade girls. Some have e-newsletters. For others, it's like at their school
poster,
open house
yeah.
or poster. So that's why we really have to have people at the school
Right.
who know the community and know how to communicate.
Right.
Most of our registration's online, but some of our schools, folks don't have as much online access, so they do paper registration. So we really, to rely on our communities there to know their communities best.
Perfect.
Gosh, we've got a lot of participation out there, which is unusual.
That's
for us.
great.
Yeah, great.
Unusual.
Just extra popular.
Just extra popular.
I was told we only have one viewer out there, and that's someone we pay well to view us.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wondered where that extra money was going.
Hey, we got to get viewership.
And it's your daughter.
Yes. No, actually. And so, actually, before we let you go, why don't we see if anyone has a question out there on Facebook Live? Gosh, we got a lot of neat comments.
Awesome.
But so, is there anything else before we part? And maybe
Well,
someone has a
I
question.
do want to
out
tell you
there.
more about our 5Ks this weekend.
Yes,
Everyone
please.
is welcome to come out. On Saturday, which is going to be kind of cold but very sunny, so it'll be a beautiful day. We are at the LaPorte County Fairgrounds for the first time. Usually we're at a different location there. It's going to be a lot of fun, and that starts at 10. And from 10 till noon, we have our DJ and face paintings and games, vendors. We've got food trucks coming out, all kinds of fun activities for the girls, and then the actual run starts at noon. And then on Sunday, we're at Wolf Lake in Hammond. and that starts at
1.
1 o'clock. So again, 2 hours of fun activities, and then at 3 o'clock everyone runs, and at 4 o'clock the sun goes down and we clean up and we're done.
Perfect.
So,
Cool.
And the other thing I would add is that the reason that we do our fundraising and our corporate sponsors and our individual donors is because we never would turn away a girl for her family's inability to pay. So about this fall, 75% of our girls received some form of financial assistance, and overall for the whole year, at least 65% of our girls received some form of financial assistance.
So they there's no reason why they can't join
Right.
Girls on the Run.
We would never turn anybody away for their individual
That's
pay.
great.
Right. And
Because
so,
there may be someone that needs the program very desperately. And,
Right.
so
and we have several sites that are grant funded. We have a lot of local community foundations like the Legacy Foundation, Foundations v Chicago, Geminis that support our program as well. And so some of those sites are free for all of the girls.
That's fantastic.
Right.
That's amazing.
Well, it doesn't look like anyone has any questions, so we must
We've
do a
answered
very
Just good
good
comments.
job.
That's
of,
right.
yeah. So we'll.
Just lots of good comments.
oh,
Yeah.
that's so nice.
Yeah, a lot of good comments, a lot of good job, so on. So with that, do you have anything else you want to share with us?
Oh, just
No, I
thank you
think
for
this
having
you.
me.
Yes,
Well,
thank
this
you.
has been
Let's
fun.
hang out. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's always great to have things like this on and let people
Yes.
know about them. And with that, I guess we'll say goodbye.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
wish
thank you.
everyone a safe and enjoyable week and weekend. So goodbye till next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
So you're a Highland girl?